Hi guys, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Nuggets News. In this video I want to cover another exciting project, and that's Lisk. Now these guys are creating a user-friendly blockchain application platform. Now this is going to allow for a number of developers that want to build blockchain-based applications to come into this space. So a lot of these cryptocurrencies and projects that are using unique programming languages can present a barrier to entry for these average developers that want to jump into this space. So by using that widely understood JavaScript programming language, it's going to allow for plenty more developers to build and code, deploy their applications, start to use those alongside the main Lisk blockchain itself, so they can monetize those and benefit from it in this decentralized model. So the Lisk Foundation had their ICO in 2016. They raised $5 million worth of Bitcoin. That's now worth $100 million. So plenty of funds to keep them going in the coming years. Experienced team that's now grown to 30 members. They're working hard at the moment on rebranding. Keep an eye on their Twitter for updates there. I'm looking forward to checking out their new website and wallet. Their final meetup next week in Berlin on the 22nd of November is being streamed live on YouTube, so check that out. There might be some exciting announcements there as well. So as I spoke about, a number of people like to compare Ethereum and other projects that use those unique programming languages like Solidity and call them out, saying that, not every developer is going to understand and be able to use these. So Ethereum is very different, and I want to make that clear. So Ethereum is very good at building smart contracts. That ERC20 standard for protocol for building tokens on top of the main network to allow integration. All that stuff is very different to what Lisk is trying to do and the problems they're trying to tackle. So Lisk is using this widely understood JavaScript programming language to build apps alongside the main Lisk blockchain. So they're not on top of the Lisk blockchain like with Ethereum. Now, again, there's pros and cons. And as I said, these two projects are tackling very different problems. So Lisk want to encourage the building of all these apps. So if you've got a good idea and you want to build it based on blockchain technology, you can now do that through their software development kit with their library of tools to build your own blockchain, build your own application. It can be very unique. You can give it whatever properties you like, and it can link up to the main Lisk blockchain. So the main Lisk blockchain itself is what I want to talk about now. So it works with delegated proof of stake. So by now you probably understand how proof of work runs with all the miners verifying transactions and collecting those fees. We then have proof of stake, where you lock up large amount of the tokens, show you've got the network's best interest at heart, and you verify the transaction. So delegated proof of stake simply means that you've been voted for, you're a delegate, you get elected, and you verify those transactions. So the Lisk blockchain works with the top 101 voted for delegates becoming the nodes that verify transactions. Now again, some people can argue that that's a degree of centralization, whether or not early adopters of Lisk that hold a lot of coins have more voting power to elect those nodes, but again, they should always have the network's best interests at heart. The thing that I want to talk about though is if you're building an app, you've got a great idea, you want to start your own blockchain, you need to find nodes that are going to support your blockchain. Like any blockchain, we need nodes that are going to verify transactions and keep the network up and running. So this is where their delegates come in. So the top 101 voted for delegates are running the Lisk blockchain, but there's 1,000+ delegates on the waiting list. So that creates a delegate marketplace of sorts. So you create a blockchain, you create an app, you've got to create incentives for those delegates to come over, those nodes, and start supporting your blockchain to secure those side blockchains. Now again, it's up to you what model you want to build to attract those nodes over to your blockchain. Now the inflation rate of Lisk, so total supply started at 100 million. That inflation rate's around 10% or so to start off with. We're now up to a circulating supply of 114 million, and that does drop off down to about 1 or 2% in the coming years. So gradual deflation, gradual decrease in inflation, I should say there. So the next thing I just want to talk about are the fees. So as the price of Lisk has gone up recently, it can be costly to send transactions. So 0.1 Lisk, if Lisk is at $8, 80 cents, that is expensive compared to other coins out there. The next thing I want to talk about is how much those delegates get paid. So at the moment, it's around up to $100,000 a month, and that's a lot of money. So this is where this whole centralization concern has come in, and there's a bit of a discussion on Reddit today in the Lisk community about how to make sure that the voting model, this governance model, the incentives to vote, all those things remain fair, because otherwise I can, maybe start to say, hey guys, vote for me, I'll pay you out, and all that sort of thing. And we want to make sure that those delegates, those nodes, have always got the network's best interest at heart. So look, check out their wallet there. That shows you how the approval rating and how the voting system works to become a delegate on the mainnet, and whether or not we want those big pools to really start to I guess, get the majority of the rewards compared to the average user. So who's the competition here? Now I've already mentioned Ethereum. Again, they're tackling two separate routes in the computing world. I've mentioned NEM. There's other projects that want to create platforms for developers to build on top of. But think about the App Store, the Android App Store. We want to compete with the big boys. So we want developers building great apps that are backed by blockchain technology and launching them on Lisk rather than the conventional ways, which would be great to see this become a decentralized marketplace and real competition for the big players. Now keep an eye on the Lisk Reddit for the latest updates. Keep an eye on their Twitter. I'm really looking forward to that rebranding and how that plays out in the coming weeks. They've promised that this is all going to be up and running before the end of the year. They've got a great roadmap of what they want to tick off in the coming years, a good team behind them. I think it's every chance to be successful if they can get more developers into this space building quality blockchain applications. So please hit like, subscribe if you haven't already, share these videos around, and as always, thanks for tuning in, guys. Cheers.